Have you ever stopped and asked yourself how long you've been working? 5 years? 10? Maybe even more? And how much has actually changed? You still wake up early, sit in traffic, and spend your day staring at a screen. And by the end of the month, you're left wondering where your paycheck went. It's frustrating. You feel stuck. You wonder if there's something wrong with you or if this is just how it is for everyone. What if your steady job is actually the hidden trap that's keeping you from true financial freedom? Here's the thing. This struggle isn't because you aren't working hard enough. It's because your full-time job, the thing you count on for security, might actually be holding you back from real financial freedom. And it's not just your job itself, but how the entire system is set up around your paycheck. While an average salary in many developed countries ranges from $50,000 to $70,000 a year, which sounds decent on paper, the reality is often quite different. However, that figure represents your gross income, the amount before taxes, insurance, and other deductions are taken out. After those are subtracted, you're probably left with about 70% of that amount as your actual take-home pay. So if you earn $60,000 a year, your monthly take-home is closer to $3,750. And that's before factoring in unavoidable expenses like healthcare costs, retirement contributions, or any emergency spending that inevitably comes up. Now, let's talk about expenses. Your rent or mortgage alone might take $1,500 to $2,000 of that every month, depending on where you live. Add utilities, phone bills, and internet, another $300 to $400. Transportation costs, whether it's a car payment, gas, or public transit, will likely take $400 to $500. Groceries? If you're lucky, under $400 a month, and that's before you consider student loans, credit card payments, medical bills, childcare, or any personal spending. When the dust settles, you might be left with just a few $100s. For millions of people, that number isn't even positive. They're in the red. It's no surprise that the average person has less than $1,000 saved. It feels like you're working so hard, yet you're barely moving forward. If you're doing everything right, going to work every day, paying your bills on time, managing your budget, but still feel like you're barely getting ahead, this message is for you. Your 9-to-5 job isn't broken. It's working exactly how the system designed it to work. Here's something many people don't realize. Our modern education system was primarily designed during the Industrial Revolution. Back then, schools were set up to prepare students to become reliable factory workers, showing up on time, following orders, and doing repetitive tasks. The focus was on discipline and routine, not creativity or financial independence. Because of that, generations were taught to value steady jobs and paychecks above all else, rather than learning how to manage money or build wealth. It keeps you stuck in survival mode, waiting for the next paycheck, hoping that someday things will get better. Here's the harsh truth. It's not your fault. You followed the rules. You showed up, worked hard, and played it safe. But those rules are outdated. The financial system wasn't built to help you win. It was designed to keep you working. What most people don't realize is that you're not just giving away your time. You're giving away your energy, your focus, your creativity, and your ability to dream beyond making ends meet. You spend more than 40 hours a week working, but when the weekend finally comes, you're so drained you can barely enjoy it. Then Monday arrives and the cycle begins again. Inflation rises faster than wages, while the cost of living, rent, food, gas, healthcare, and other essentials keeps climbing, squeezing your budget tighter. A 3% raise might feel good until you see prices jump 8% or more in a year. So no, your job isn't making you richer. It's just keeping you alive. That's why you need to stop relying on your paycheck alone. Let's look at what building real wealth actually means and how anyone watching can start today. Take $200 a month. Just $200. That's not a huge amount. It's what you might casually spend each month without even realizing it. On fast food, delivery apps, extra streaming subscriptions, random shopping, or things on sale. Now imagine that instead of letting that money disappear, you put it to work investing in a proven market option like the SPY ETF. The SPY is a fund that tracks the top 500 US companies, including giants like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. When you invest in SPY and reinvest the dividends it pays out, the average annual return has been about 10% over the last 50 years. That steady growth beats inflation and quietly builds your wealth over time. At first, it might not feel exciting, but give it time. After 10 years, investing $200 a month in SPY, with dividends reinvested and the average 10% yearly return, can grow to around $39,000. That's not just an emergency fund. That's enough to pay off debt, take pressure off major life expenses, or create real financial breathing room. After 20 years, that same investment could grow to over $132,000. That's serious capital, enough for a down payment on a home, funding your kids' college, or launching the business you've been dreaming about. It's the kind of money that gives you real options to make bold moves on your own terms. Imagine telling your boss you're leaving not because you're desperate, but because you've built a financial foundation that gives you the power to walk away. That's freedom most people never get to experience. And if you let it grow for 30 years, it can become more than $370,000. That's life-changing. It's the difference between working until you drop and having the freedom to retire early, travel, or spend more time with family. This isn't magic, it's math. Compound interest is the most powerful weapon to beat the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. To put it another way, imagine putting $200 into a jar under your bed every month. After 10 years, you'd have $24,000 sitting there, untouched and waiting. But investing that same amount in SPY, reinvesting dividends, and earning that average 10% annually grows to $39,000. A difference of $15,000 just by letting your money grow steadily and quietly over time. By year 30, your jar would hold $72,000. Investing turns that same sum into more than $370,000, more than 5 times as much. That's the incredible power of compound interest, where your earnings generate more earnings, continuously and exponentially over and over again. You might think $200 is too much. Here's a secret. $200 is flexible. Start with $50 or $100 on Webull. It's really about building the habit and staying consistent. Even $50 a month invested for 30 years can grow to more than $92,000. Small actions add up big over time and create lasting change. If you grow that $200 slowly over time by adding a little more when you get raises or extra income, your future self will thank you. Most people avoid investing because they think it's too risky or complicated. But this option tracks 500 top companies, lowering risk compared to individual stocks. Slow, steady, and boring wins the race. Meanwhile, most people will keep spending that same $200 without realizing it's disappearing into nothing. You won't, because now you know better. The next question is, where do you find that $200? The truth is, you probably already have it. You just haven't tracked it carefully enough. Most people have no real idea where their money goes each month. Try tracking every single dollar for 30 days. You'll start noticing spending patterns you never saw before. You'll find leaks draining your budget quietly but steadily. Maybe it's a $12 app you haven't used in 6 months, or the daily coffee habit that adds up, or the third subscription service you forgot about because it was just convenient. Cancel what you don't use and cut back where it doesn't hurt your quality of life. That alone can free up enough money to begin investing. If your budget is already tight, focus on increasing your income first. If your job caps your earnings, you need a second source of income. Not necessarily a second job, but something you control, something with leverage and potential to grow. Start small. Maybe freelance a skill you already have. Writing, design, editing, tutoring. Maybe resell items online, offer digital products, or create content for social media. Your job gives you a paycheck. That's it. But side income gives you choices, freedom, and leverage. That's how you stop trading time for money forever. And to put that extra money to work, you can start investing in ETFs like SPY using Webull. My link is in the description or pinned comment, and signing up gets you free stocks to kickstart your portfolio. Here's the reality. If you make $60,000 a year and never build anything outside of that, in 10 years you'll earn $600,000 and likely save next to nothing. But if you combine your paycheck with simple investing, and even one small stream of side income, you can change your entire future. It all starts with that first step. Remember, no one starts perfect. Everyone stumbles along the way. What matters is showing up every day and being consistent. Financial freedom isn't about luck. It's about commitment and patience. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now.